Huawei just said something that honestly surprised a lot of people. The company is actually thanking the United States for helping its chip technology grow. Yeah, you heard that right. Huawei's rotating chairman Hu Zhijun recently talked about the company's progress in semiconductor technology, and instead of complaining about the US sanctions, he said those restrictions actually pushed Huawei and China's chip industry to move faster. When a reporter asked him how he felt about Huawei's new chip technology, his answer was very interesting. He basically said he's not celebrating too much because these are things other companies already achieved around 10 years ago. Think about that for a second. Huawei is making progress, but Hu Zhijun believes catching up isn't enough. His goal is not just to reach where other companies already are, he wants Huawei to create something completely new. And that's where things get really interesting. Huawei is now working on a new chip design idea called Logic Folding. Now, don't worry about the technical name. The simple version is this. Instead of making small improvements to old chip designs, Huawei wants to redesign the chip from the ground up. Imagine rebuilding a house instead of just painting the walls. That's basically what Huawei is trying to do with its processors. According to the company, this new approach can remove a lot of unnecessary parts inside the chip. Huawei says it can reduce redundant buffers by more than 50%. What does that mean for normal people? Well, it could mean faster performance, better efficiency, and lower power usage. In simple words, devices could become quicker while using less battery. Huawei also claims this technology can improve CPU performance, GPU performance, and even NPU performance, which is the part of the chip that handles AI tasks. So on paper, that's a pretty big deal. But the most interesting part of this story is what Hu Zhijun said about the United States. He explained that if the US had never placed restrictions on Huawei, the company might never have invested so heavily in developing its own chip technology. The pressure forced Huawei to find new solutions. It forced the company to innovate. And according to Hu Zhijun, it didn't just help Huawei. He believes it helped the entire Chinese semiconductor industry. He said the restrictions pushed companies across China to work harder, build their own technology, and strengthen the local chip supply chain. In his view, that pressure became motivation. And now he says the momentum inside China's semiconductor industry is stronger than ever. Whether you agree with him or not, it's definitely a fascinating situation. The original goal of the sanctions was to slow Huawei down, but Huawei is now arguing that those same restrictions pushed them to become more independent and more determined to develop their own technology. Of course, Huawei still has a long road ahead. The company is competing against some of the biggest chip makers in the world, but one thing is clear. Huawei isn't focusing on the past anymore. They're trying to build new technologies, new chip designs, and new ways to improve performance. And if this logic folding technology actually delivers what Huawei is promising, it could become one of the most important semiconductor developments we've seen from the company in years. The big question now is simple. Can Huawei turn these ideas into real products that compete with the best chips in the world? We'll have to wait and see. But one thing is certain. The global chip race is getting more interesting every year.